guys, it is your girl Chic Shay here coming at you with another video. So today I found a demo on Steam which is called Murder Most Misfortune. It looks pretty cool. Once again, this is just a demo. I will leave a link down below in the description box so you guys can find it and download it and play it for yourselves. Basically, it's I guess just about a murder. I didn't read too much into it, but I'm really excited to play it and try it out. The graphics already look really good. So this is more of a story, but it's almost like, I guess, considered a little bit of a puzzle in a sense. You're kind of clicking around to find stuff. But I don't know, I'm super excited to play it. So let's get started. So, new story. Alright. And guys, please remember to follow me on Instagram at TheRealChicShay, and I'll leave it somewhere around here. Alright, left click on the text or press the spacebar to proceed. Click on the right, click on the dots on the right to have the game proceed automatically. Press escape to access volume and text speed options or settings. Let's do the automatic already. Use the scroll wheel when hovering over the text box to... Okay, well maybe we should turn that off.
I hope this letter finds you well. I did so enjoy our little discussion of the work of Guy de Mauvaisier the last time we met. I would like to cordially invite you to an intimate gathering of mine on the evening of the 27th. We will be celebrating my recent acquisition of a rather unique historical property, and I think you are just the one to properly appreciate it. I look forward to your RSVP in the affirmative. Most sincerely yours, Prince Titanico.
It was at an art auction, I think, that I first met Prince Titanico. He seemed to think the world of himself.
She's a cutie. I just had to say that.
I, quite frankly, thought him a bit of a bore. But if I only accepted social invitations from people I thoroughly approved, I wouldn't dine out very often. I stepped onto the curb from my limo and laid eyes on the place for the first time.
Fancy.
Gothic gargoyles loomed ominously over the old house, and creeping vines wound their way up its walls, as though trying to strangle it. The prince had been right. It really was to my taste.
Good evening, ma'am. May I have your name?
He's huge.
Ugh, this hulking thug, on the other hand, not so much. Fortune. Miss Fortune.
Is the miss a first name or a title, ma'am?
Oh, I like to leave that to the imagination. Now you must be the butler, so why don't you buttle on and show me inside? The evening is a bit damp, I dare say.
No, ma'am. I'm not a butler. Just a valet. My name is Klops.
Corpse.
Oh my, what a terrible shame. Well, butler, or valet, you do open doors, don't you?
Yes, ma'am. Right this way.
Why is this jacket all small?
From the cobwebs in the corners and the dust on the railings, it was obvious that the house had been abandoned for some time. Some high society guests might have been insulted to be invited to a venue in such ill repair, but it didn't bother me. I realized that the house had been preserved as it was for the effect.
Miss Fortune has arrived.
Ah, Miss Fortune, good evening. There are refreshments on the side table. Please do help yourself.
Oh, he's a cutie too.
Why, thank you. So, are you The butler? Or are you going to tell me you're just, I don't know, the concierge?
Butler? No, 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 no. I'm not a servant.
His mouth isn't moving, and yet he's talking.
I am a close friend and trusted advisor to our dear prince. The Grand Magus of his court, if you will. My name is Horatio.
Charmed, I'm sure.
My dear Misfortune, how are you, darling? It's so good to see you again.
Comtesse de Clecitra. Yes, it's been just ages, hasn't it? I should have known you to be here. You're never one to miss an event on the social circuit.
I dare say I needed something to cheer me up after my late husband's funeral. And an evening like this is just the thing.
Alright. About your husband or last we met. Let's talk about your husband.
Of course. I was so sorry to hear about your husband. This is your
Such a
fourth
goofy
time a widow, if I'm not mistaken.
position.
Quite so. And for you, 9, I believe?
Ah, yes. They just keep dropping dead, the poor dears. It's so hard to find a good man with stamina these days.
Oh my, should I be worried? Perhaps you've been cursed.
Me? Cursed? Nonsense. I seem to be doing just fine. But maybe I am bad luck.
Well, last we met.
Let me see. What exactly was it that we last saw each other? It must...
Sorry, guys.
Heavens, yes! Wasn't that quite the affair? Were you there when one of the waiters spilled a tray of champagne all over Duchess Reese's dress?
Oh, yes. That was positively scrumptious, wasn't it? I mean, a shame about the dress, of course. I heard she had it made just for the ball. Such a pity.
Well, given how many people come out nowadays, it was bound to happen to someone. I even heard the poor servant say he was sure he felt someone in the crowd give him a little shove. Can you imagine?
Surely not. These are high lords and ladies we're talking about. No doubt the man is just making excuses for his clumsiness.
I just want to point out, her hand looks pretty messed up there, the girl in the purple. Probably something to fix in the actual game.
You're probably right. Just an unlucky accident, I'm sure.
Ah, Misfortune, welcome. I'm so delighted that you could come. I trust Horatio has been keeping you entertained.
Oh, yes. La Comtesse and I were just scandalizing your court jester. Or was he a wizard? In any case, scandalizing him with our intimate marriage details.
Of course you were. So tell me, what do you think of the house? I must admit, when I first came into this little period piece, I immediately thought of you.
It seems melancholy, mysterious, and maybe just a little macabre. So yes, I quite like it so far.
Excellent. I'm glad to hear it. I will take you all on a more detailed tour shortly, but we are still waiting for more guests to arrive. And what timing! Here they are now.
Miss Charisse and Miss Leah have arrived, sir.
Is that the Charisse? The industrial heiress? The one who's been throwing all those charity balls ever since she came into her fortune.
The very same!
My beautiful Charisse, please come in. Without you, this place is dark and drab, but your radiance rekindles it anew.
You're too kind.
Oh my! I had heard she was seeing someone, but I never imagined it was him.
Indeed. This party just got a little more interesting.
And this must be Leah, the girlhood friend of whom you speak so very highly?
Yeah, nice place you got here. If you like entertaining dead people.
Dead people? Yeah, I assure you, fair lady, you are perfectly safe here.
I think it was a critique of the decor, not of our safety.
Leah doesn't mean it.
Oh, sorry, guys.
It's a lovely house. Really.
On the contrary, Miss Leah may be more right than she knows. Until recently, this mansion was the property of the Lee family. Perhaps you know of them.
Oh yes, who doesn't? A distinguished family of the nobility with a respected pedigree and a long history of public service and political influence.
So, short version, some stuffy old rich people.
Almost all of the estates out here, away from the city, were owned by old families.
She's so cute, but so boring and sad.
But many have had to sell over the years.
What's wrong with her?
It must be a bit sad for them, leaving all that history behind.
Indeed, and especially so for the Lees. Theirs is a tale of tragedy, and it ends, as they so often do, in sorrow and blood.
Okay.
Come, the house itself will tell its share of the tale.
Smoking room.
This is the smoking room. Did the Lee family use this as a quiet place to relax after their evening meals, I wonder? Or was this the proverbial smoke-filled room where secret deals would be struck and the fates of nations decided?
My attention was drawn to a curio cabinet on one side of the room. Some of the items within rather struck my fancy.
Just checking if I was playing it or not.
This cabinet, are these items originals?
I believe so. I have endeavored to change as little as possible about the house since acquiring it. The Lees were well known as eclectic collectors.
They also say that sorcery ran strongly in the Lee family, you know.
Great. As if we didn't have enough reason to think this place was owned by a bunch of creepers.
Come now, surely a smart little girl like you doesn't put any stock in old superstitions.
Magic and superstitions, no. Weird and creepy people, on the other hand, are plenty real.
No need to worry, young lady. You're among good company here.
We will have time to look around in greater detail later, I assure you. For the moment, follow me, if you would. They called this the king bedroom, home to the master of the house. Now, it is as you see it, empty and forlorn, as it waits for a new master to take the place of the old.
It feels so cold.
Milady, I can call for Klops to bring you a sweater.
And while he's at it, perhaps also a textbook on metaphorical versus literal language.
You are so kind, but I'm fine. It's just the atmosphere of this place.
The Lees were among our most powerful families before the Imperial Revolution. But like most of the old guard at the time, they chose the losing side. In many ways, the family never recovered.
They certainly never recovered financially at the very least. Thus the sale of this very house.
It's almost as if old money runs out if you're not smart with it. Who'd have thought?
Quite so. But at least the house has gone to those who can appreciate its history. This is the Queen bedroom, and it has a fascinating story. It is said that the famous senator Lamika Lee herself met her end in this very room during the final days of the revolution.
Yeah, I remember learning about that. She was one of the staunchest supporters of the Old Republic.
And she was killed here? In her own bedroom? That's so terrible.
By all accounts, she did not go down without a fight. Revolutionary soldiers had stormed the grounds, but none who came in here survived.
They even say that she sustained herself for days on the blood of the soldiers who kept coming for her.
Well, points for ingenuity. I'll grant her that.
But that was all a long time ago. There wouldn't still be any blood left here now, or anything.
Really? With all the red, it's rather difficult to say, isn't it? Who knows how much of it might have soaked into the floor, the walls, the bed.
You are right, my darling Charisse. It is all long past. A good tale for a night of ghost stories, perhaps. But thankfully, these are happier times. And here we have the dining hall. I see that Klops has left some tea and coffee on the table for us.
And orange juice too, I hope. I'm running rather low. All this dry air, you know?
He's so goofy.
I'll see to it, sir.
For me, just a spot of black coffee would be wonderful.
This concludes our formal tour of the estate, but our evening is far from over. Tonight, my friends, is more than just a housewarming party. Before the night is done, I have a very special announcement to make to you all. Don't worry, my dear. You are safe with me.
Thank you. I was just a bit startled.
Oh, heavens, yes! The light's going out! What horror! I dare say I may faint myself, delicate flower that I am.
Flower? A noxious weed, perhaps?
Rude.
Please, Misfortune, allow me. I've got you now.
Oh, what would we do without you? On second thought, you can unhand me. I seem to be quite all right.
Good, good. Because there's nothing to be worried about. It's just a little blackout.
He should be like a character on The Office.
Would you be so good as to check the breaker then, my dear Horatio?
Yes, of course. My talents will shed some light on all of us in no time.
I absolutely adore these old homes, but they do so often have problems with the wiring, don't they?
Excuse me, boss. Sir, there's a telephone call for you.
A call for me? Here? How mysterious. You must excuse me, my dear guests. Klops will fetch some candles for you so you can look around while Horatio works his magic on the lighting. I will return very shortly.
I wandered back to the king bedroom by myself to take a closer look at some of the decor.
Oh, oh okay. There you go.
The air in the old house was still and thick with dust. But even had there been a draft, I doubt the black drapes by the room's window would have stirred. Even I was surprised by how thick and heavy the material was. No sunlight would have pierced its way into this room against its occupants' wishes. That much was certain.
Alright, let's check out. Oh. The bed.
The elaborate carvings on the wooden bedpost intrigued me. Spirits and demons of all sorts circled and surrounded any lord who might sleep in this bed.
Why would you want that?
Was this preferable, I wondered, than sleeping in the arms of Lamika Lee, blood drinker as she was rumored to be? Looks like our court magician has managed to conjure back a little light for us after all.
Alright. The
Had
bookshelf.
these books on the shelf belonged to the Lee family as well? Curious, I skimmed a few of the titles. A History of the Republic, Genealogy of the Great Families, How to Train Killer Bats, Genghis Khan and the 21 Balloons. All dreadfully dull classics, I'm sure. I'd hoped that by taking a closer look at the ruined portrait, I might be able to discern who had been pictured. I could imagine no shortage of delicious reasons why a lord's portrait might be disfigured in a house such as this. Shredded by a bitter servant when the master was thought absent. Savaged by an angry child who never quite lived up to expectations. Alas, the portrait seemed more a victim of old age than of some crime of passion, and of the face, I could make out nothing at all.
Okay. Door. Okay.
For just the slightest of moments, I considered collapsing into the antique red chair in the room's corner. After all, we'd spent the evening on our feet, traipsing about the house for the prince's little ghost tour. Then I remembered that spiderwebs don't just come out of nowhere, and that upholstery is a prime place for the little nasties to hide. I would have to remember to warn our doe-eyed little angel about that as well. You know, in addition to the possible bloodstains and all.
At last I found you, Misfortune. You need to come right away. Please.
Whatever is the matter? You look like you've seen a ghost with that one eye of yours.
There's no time to waste, miss. You should see for yourself.
Oh Lord, who done died?
Gathering my skirts, I hurried after the hulking butler, valet, back to the hall where we had first arrived. From the urgency in his pace and in his voice, I knew that something had happened. But still...
No!
It was our host, Prince Titanico.
So he fell.
He was dead. That alone wouldn't scare me. I was no stranger to dead bodies.
Legs all twisted and his arm.
but from the way he was lying, it was clear that his death was no accident. He'd been murdered. And that meant that someone in the mansion was the murderer.
Who's the murderer? Okay. Oh, thanks for playing our demo. Experience the whole story and the full game. Whoa. Okay, guys. Well, that was a pretty awesome little demo there. Definitely more of a story, which I'm actually pretty excited to see who killed him and why. Pretty interested in this. The graphics are pretty awesome. The voice acting, awesome. Yeah. Also, I forgot to say earlier, I did notice that it said that the full game should be out May 1st, so I'm gonna definitely make sure to put a link in the description box for you guys to play it. So, guys, thank you guys so much for watching. Please make sure to subscribe and hit that like button to see more of this. If you would like to see me do an actual part 2 of this when the game comes out, please make sure to like this video. And to see more gaming videos or makeup videos, make sure to subscribe. Also, follow me on Instagram and Twitter. Like I said before, I will leave a image somewhere around here for you guys to be able to find my social media, which is at The Real Chic Shay. Talk to you guys soon. Bye!